What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Paulino podcast. I'm your host, Linder. Um, like, subscribe, check me out, check my other content out. Um, the news on the other person joining the podcast still under wraps, still in the air. I'm not sure what the status is on that, but we'll just keep trucking here. Let's see. So I wanted to get into a few topics today. First one being, obviously the most recent one. We got the moon launch that's still currently. Today's date is this April 2nd, 2026. So they're still up there, doing their thing. As far as we know, as far as what they're showing us. Again, I don't like taking sides on the whole. Obviously, now there's this, flat Earth theory that has resurfaced over the course of the century. Turn of the century. Now the debate came back. I've seen many debates about this. And it's really just a refutation of evidence. It's really all it comes down to. It really comes down to the physicists present both mathematical equations and evidence that matches what they're saying, and they tend to both correlate the mathematics that they have with the physics of the movement of objects and all the science that goes behind that. And I see that it's refuted by casting doubt on every aspect of the information that's being given. For example, they say gravity, they're lying to us about gravity. The only issue with that statement, when someone tells me we're lying, when someone tells us they're lying to us about gravity, the scientists themselves don't even fully understand what gravity is. So yeah, they're agreeing with you that nobody really knows what gravity is. We just know that it's there, and something causes something to fall. That's all they know. They don't know the intricacies and the deeper science behind it. Now, the ones who refute gravity, the ones that say that gravity is a social construct, or I'm not even sure how they frame it, but they don't believe in gravity. Those who don't propose the alternative that it's some sort of electric field, and it has to do with buoyancy. It's a very unorthodox approach. I mean, when you really cut down all the terms that they throw at you, I mean, you can kind of get an idea of what they're talking about. And basically is that there's differences in buoyancy. There's difference just how something floats in the water. That's pretty much how gravity works. Some things are more dense than other and sink more in this kind of medium that we're in. They say that we're in this medium, and this medium is consisted of electrical charges or whatever, and that's kind of goes into the whole thing of everything that everything has energy. And it gets pretty deep. It gets pretty deep in there. I don't want to go too much into it because I'll be here all day explaining their alternative. I am an amateur astronomer. This is what I have to bring to the table is I have questions too, and what I do is I bought a telescope. And it's not a $2,000 telescope, but it's like a $300 telescope that I bought, and I bought a couple filters for it, and I've caught images of Saturn and Jupiter, and while I hear all this, oh, space is fake, and I hear the other side of the argument telling me that, oh, what I'm seeing is not real. You see, I have an issue with that because me, I'm the kind of person that, just like everybody else, if you show me something, yeah, I'm gonna say that there it is. It's right there. I'm not gonna say, well, what I'm looking at with my naked eye through these lens are a fabrication of some kind of it's give me 1 second here. Having a bit of technical difficulties. I see people talking about this, and when people bring up the debate of, whether they have an alternative theory or not, typically this is where I refute things, is that the theory that they're bringing up has already been brought up in the past. A lot of people, they bring up the theories, but they don't do the experimentation behind it to prove the theory. They just propose it. That's my issue with that. It's that you got the guys in the lab coats that are actively doing experiments and actively, as the opposers say, they're deceiving the country. Well, to me, they're strengthening their claim and keep strengthening their claim and keep strengthening their claim with more evidence and more experiments, and everything is out in the open. You know what I mean? We're seeing it live. It's not, some of it I will say, okay, we can argue that if we have rockets, let's say the same people that make the rockets for space are the same people that make our rockets for weapons. Are we going to want to disclose everything? No. So there's going to be compartmental things. Some things are going to be classified. My tongue is twisting right now. Things are going to be classified. Things are going to be, okay, not everything is going to be just, you don't have to know everything. You can see the cool things that we're doing. You can see the final product. You can't see the patent for it because some of those patents are kind of, they're similar with the patents for our military budget. I mean, our military equipment. They're literally using this very same technology to shoot rockets to other countries. So yes, a lot of these things are going to be classified. A lot of these things are going to be hidden to the public because, I don't want Russia to know how we make our rockets. What if our rockets are better? If we have better rockets, I'm not going to tell you guys how to make them. No, build your own rockets. That's my theory with that. My theory is don't let them tell you, oh, this is the theory without an alternative. You know what I'm saying? Don't let them tell you, oh, you know what, I would much rather take the position of, I'll be open to both theories. I'm not going to tell you your theory is wrong and impossible. However, on the scale of evidence, I mean, there's a lot more evidence on one side than there is on the other side. So however that works. The idea. I'm trying to get this going here, guys. So anyway, the idea that there are no when people come up and they tell me, "Hey, the earth is flat," they usually want me to abandon. They want me to completely abandon all the science that go behind whatever the hell the scientists are saying because it doesn't make sense to them. And that's the problem I have. Because it doesn't make sense to you. Now you're going to put that in a monolith and say, well, everyone should believe me because, I mean, it really doesn't make sense. It's like, but you know what's interesting? When I start to look at these equations and I start hearing these scientists talk, and it's not just one, you got to listen to all of them. Listen to what they're all saying. And you can do this very easily. YouTube is a great tool for finding what people are doing in whatever kind of front you're looking for. You want to see what the frontier is on you know what the latest is on consciousness? They have scientists doing that. You want to know what the latest is in physics? They have a scientist doing that. You want to know what the latest is on particle physics? They have a scientist doing that. That you can look up their work and see what the latest is. You know, to you, it's going to look like, oh, mumbo jumbo. Oh, look at all this mumbo jumbo. It's like, well, you know what? You know what's interesting? When you start reading into it and you start reading into these disciplines of science, a lot of things start making sense. A lot of things start making sense. You know, and another thing is whenever people bring these theories up, you know, you're dismissing and you're completely just shutting down all the people who are doing this in good faith. I'm sorry to say that man, people are curious, and if they're curious, if there's level to curiosity. You can be curious. You can be a curious person to say, I wonder if the earth is flat. Anyway, I'm going back to work. You can be that kind of curious. Or you can be the curious, I'm so curious that I'm going to go to school for this and really figure out what the hell is going on. That's another level of curiosity. The craziest level of curiosity is those people that say, you know what? I'm going to make it my life's mission to become an astronaut. And I'm going to do everything I can in my power to become an astronaut and get in front of those ships and see for myself if these things are real, if space is real, if everything is real or not. But people don't, because that's a lot of work. It's lazy. It's laziness. It's lazy to say the earth is flat and do no work for that. I want to see the journey where a flat earther goes and becomes an astronaut. That's what I want to see. A lot of people talking, not a lot of people taking the reins of becoming an astronaut. Or at least getting close to it. Become a pilot. Really go out there and really, really test these theories out if you're really so fucking curious. You know what I'm saying? And that is not an appeal to authority. A lot of people might say, oh, this guy's appealing to authority. Oh, so because you're not an astronaut, you can't talk about it. No. I'm just saying, if you're going to have your own theories and completely dismiss everything without a reasonable doubt, your standard of proof is shit. Your standard of proof, you're telling everybody that you're so gullible, that your standard of proof is a couple videos that you've seen, you read a couple books, and you think that you did your due diligence. You think that you got your context. You think that you got everything you need, your arsenal to destroy the scientists. And it's just not the case. It's just not the case. Because if you're telling me, oh, NASA is bullshit. Okay, well, they deal with aeronautics. So you're saying that planes are bullshit because a lot of the planes that we use, a lot of those designs, a lot of those patents, a lot of those scientists and engineers, a lot of them have experience working with NASA interchangeably because it's aeronautics, National Aeronautics Space Agency or Space Administration, whatever the hell. My point is that they deal with air. So anything in the air, whatever, it's fine with me. That's not a gotcha. You know, that's my perspective on that. Really went on a tangent there, addressing the people who want to take up that conspiracy route. It's like, look, take the conspiracy route. That's fine. But do your due diligence. Don't just come and show me what person A said, what person B said, and then show me, and then try to get these coincidences and then make these false correlatives. You know what I mean? Don't do that, because you're gonna sound crazy. You're gonna sound like you got a tinfoil hat on. That's all I'm saying. You know, if you want to be taken seriously, I mean, present some evidence. You know, don't put the weird music in the background and say, oh, look at the videos. The videos, they don't look real. They don't look real. It looks AI. This is AI, guys. This is AI. No, dude, with no proof, no nothing, you're just saying it. You're just getting on a camera, saying it. People are buying it and saying, yo, this guy, he makes you think. He makes you think. That's what they say. He made me think. He made me think about it. And it's like, yeah, dude, sure. So what? You know, if you don't understand what being in suspended in zero gravity, well, we don't know what gravity is. We know when it's gone. So you can't say, oh, zero gravity, they made that up. No, we're just saying the absence of thereof. That's what that means. The absence thereof, gravity, zero gravity. You know, it's not a made up term. A lot of people say, oh, they're mimicking falling in space. Like, dude, I mean, how many things are you going to sit there and debunk? You know, you're just dismissing everything. You're just saying, nope, next, nope, next, looks like bullshit, next. Nope, not believable. You're not even giving it any credit, any time, any nothing. You're just saying, yep, that looks like bullshit. I mean, it's just poor evidence. It's just poor evidence, a very low standard of proof. You know, if there was a murder case involving suspect A, are you going to believe a little bit of evidence, or are you going to believe a lot of evidence in order to convict a person of murder? And that's a gruesome example, but I'm just saying, if your standard of proof is so low, all you need is, well, I saw him do it. That's all you would need. That's all you would need to convict a person. If your standard of proof is so low that you're willing to take this little bit of evidence and dismiss this myriad of evidence just because it doesn't make sense to you. I understand there's public deception. I get, you know, there's government programs. I mean, we can think of many instances where the government has tried to deceive the public. It's very hard to deceive the public with something that people can objectively see. Like I said, back to my telescope, I can take my telescope, I can look up to the fucking moon, and I can see that fucking thing moving in the sky. If there is such a firmament, I mean, maybe we're thinking that it's a little bigger. Maybe it's a little bigger than what people are perceiving it to be. Because, man, a dome, I mean, people, I mean, come on. You would much believe the dome with very little evidence versus the rhetoric that NASA's spewing. Let's just put it like that, so I don't take sides. Whatever the scientists are saying, you're going to refute the mountains of evidence that they have versus the few little conspiracy videos that are out there that are shedding doubt and poisoning the well of all of these scientists. It's just nonsensical. That's just nonsensical. Because like I said, back to the murder case, there is so much evidence that goes into this. The standard of evidence is beyond a reasonable doubt. You know what I'm saying? They would have to have the knife with the DNA. They would have to have video. They would have to have the victim, the deceased victim, an attempted victim. They're going to build this case so much that they're going to show that jury that this guy off this person beyond a reasonable doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, we know that this guy did it because look at all this evidence. If the evidence that's presented to me that's arguing for a flat earth is this thick, and the evidence that's presented to me that's proving a round earth is like this, I'm sorry that I'm just going to have to go with the people that are giving me much more convincing, concise evidence with experiments that I can replicate myself and successfully replicate. So if I can replicate whatever experiments NASA's throwing at us, if we can do some of them at home, obviously some of them require sophisticated equipment. But if I can recreate, like I said, with my telescope, just observation, literally just observing the sky, you will see very, very interesting things that disprove, this idea of a flat earth. Again, I'm not saying that the earth is 100% round, and I'm not saying the earth is 100% flat. To cover my own ass, I'm saying that there is enough evidence to suggest that the earth is round, suspended in zero gravity, versus the lack of evidence that is trying to suggest that the earth is contrarily a dome, a flat piece of land or plane, whatever the hell they want to say, because they show the pictures of the domed earth and they say that that's not it, guys. That's just us. That's them making fun of us. That's them ridiculing us. It doesn't look like that. It looks like this. And they show me another dome. And it's like, okay, well, fuck it. Your dome's better, I guess. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. I don't get it. I'm honestly just, I'm starting to see, as me recording these things and talking about these things, that a lot of these people may just be looking for clout, but I just do not see that argument going further. I just don't see it, and I spent way too much time on this already, but it's just interesting because that's all I see. That's all I see when something as historic as another moon launch happens. The conspiracy guys crawl out of their fucking basements and they start spewing all this online, and I'm like, man, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much evidence. It doesn't matter how much live footage you guys get. I mean, it's a complete refutation. It's not even considered lightly. It's like, if you dismiss science, you should get rid of your phone. It's just like that goes into so many things. It's like, if you're dismissing the science that goes into rocket science, then get rid of your phone. Because I'm going to tell you right now, look up, and this is homework for the people. Look up how many disciplines of science it takes to make an iPhone. And it works. Everybody uses it. There's a lot of disciplines that goes into making one cell phone. So many different materials. And a lot of people just like, yeah, fuck science. Anyway, as I was telling you on my cell phone, that's very sophisticatedly built by scientists. It's very funny to me. It's very funny to me that people they put their lives on technology. They rely on technology every day. But they dismiss science. It's just very funny to me. Anyways, I'm gonna move from that topic. That's I'm probably not gonna get to the other ones. I spend way too much time on this. But the other topic I wanted to get was Pam Bondi's time is running out in the White House. Articles are coming out, they're in circulation now, and they're talking about Pam Bondi's time being starting to come to an end as Attorney General. And I kind of saw this coming. The way that she handled the press was very poor handling of the press. Not really one of those things that I would fire someone over, but seeing how volatile the Trump administration is right now, I mean, I'm not even sure how to even put how disappointed I am in how things are going with this war. I posted when it was week 4 of the attacks on Iran. I posted, look, 2 more weeks. How they said it was going to take 6 weeks, 2 more weeks, and I'm condemning the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? 2 more weeks, and I'm telling everybody that, which I'm doing it now. Which this is where things are getting. I'm getting to the point where I need to tell everyone that I was wrong about the war. I thought it was gonna be, quick. How I bought into it. You know what I mean? I bought into the rhetoric, and the interesting thing is that when people start pointing fingers at Trump, and this is where I still have refutations of the war, but I mean, there are some things that Trump is doing that hasn't, and again, people can call this whatever they want. They can call this a defense of Trump, whatever. I don't like the fact that we got into another war. That's one of the criticisms I have. The campaign was ran on not going to a foreign war, and we did. So that alone right there is enough to create space between a lot of voters and Trump. Honestly, Republicans and Trump. However, the Pam Bondi situation, I just don't think that she's as aggressive as the Trump administration or Trump himself assumed her to be. I think that the media put her through the ringer, and we got to see the weakness, and Trump doesn't want weakness in the administration. A lot of people can take that statement however they please, but I think that he's trying to run a tight ship, and she's not doing too hot of a job. So it's like the NFL. You don't score us a touchdown a few games. We paid you money. We put you on a platform, and you're not producing. Then you got to get the fuck out. And I couldn't agree more. With the replacement, in a vacuum, it's not that I'm agreeing with Trump firing Bondi, but if I was president and if I was yeah, dude, I'm letting you go all day. You're not producing to the level that I was expecting of you. So things are going to change, or there will be changes, and the tough conversations need to be had. It doesn't seem too adversarial. The feeling I'm getting from the post online is that it's kind of mutual. I mean, not really mutual, but just cordial. There's not really too much said between the two. I mean, again, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow with this administration. But I see this, and I think it's just them tightening the ship. I just see them trying to now if I get more critical of this, maybe, okay, so Joe Kent publicly left. on the note that he didn't agree with the Iran war. And he was very, very vocal about that. He went on Tucker Carlson. He went on Piers Morgan. This guy went on every fucking platform you can fucking think of. I think he did a second one on Sean Ryan, after the fact. Because I know he did one with Sean Ryan a couple years back. Now he went back again. And the rhetoric that he's spewing was basically that he doesn't have a problem with Trump. He just didn't agree morally with the Iran war, which was the reason that he left. And that goes. Those conversations go into so many other things, but highlighting the Iran thing and people leaving the administrations upon their own recognizance and not getting fired, but leaving, um, really shows like, oh, okay, this guy left. That in and of itself is taken as in, yo, what the fuck did you see that made you leave? And he articulated like, yeah, the Iranians posed no threat. There was no imminent threat coming from Iran, which that can be taken both ways. Because if you say, oh, well, you're believing the propaganda that Iran's telling you, that's one thing. Another thing is you can see the sincerity. You can see the sincerity that's coming out of Joe Kent. But at the end of the day, Pam Bondi getting fired is just one of those things that I believe are inevitable. Um, I think that not on board, people who are not on board, those are the people that typically either see their way out or they get replaced. And I just don't see any significance behind it. But of course, my prediction is that if this is gonna blow up, everybody's gonna start saying she couldn't take it anymore, that she's fed up with the Trump, that's why she left and all this, that, and the third. But I'm not gonna get behind it. I'm just gonna see it for what it is. A lot of people can call that whatever they want. They can call it naive. They can call it whatever. But I'm not gonna get behind the trope of she's this and she's that. We will never really know what went down with the firings, that and the replacements and all this. We'll never really know. We only know what the media tells us and what they want us to tell us, and what what the administration wants to tell us. So, I'll end it on that note. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in again. Gonna try to post these things a little bit more frequent now. So, yeah. Hit that like button, subscribe, check out my other content. Again, this is Linder. This is the Paulino Podcast, and I'll see you guys next time. Hey, baby. Sorry, I was on the phone and I left my phone in the kitchen. What's up, baby? That's what I was trying to do, is fucking grab something to eat because I used my